Great to be with you again on Locked On Texas Tech on the Locked On Podcast Network. Special edition as we dive into voices from the YouTube comments. Appreciate each and every one of you out there who are mixing it up on the regular in the comment section and wanted to get to a couple of questions, statements, thoughts, accusations, or allegations whenever we have the opportunity, Chris. And we got the opportunity this week. And this is going to be relatively basketball heavy this time around, as obviously the transfer portal is at the forefront of a basketball fan's mind this time of year. Got another busy weekend on tap for Grant McCaslin and the Red Raider men's basketball program. So let's dive right in and get to comment number one. All right, this is from our buddy Raider98 Royalty. Does he wear a crown or not? That's an answer I don't have today. Here's the question. This is regarding two potential targets, one I know scheduled to visit this weekend, not sure about the other, but the question is, would JT Toppin, New Mexico transfer, or Great Osobor, a pronunciation I've never screwed up, Utah State transfer, be the better get for Tech? If money was no object, he or she, I suppose, asks, could we fit both on the roster, or would they be pieces that are redundant? Chris, could you kind of stagger these as far as maybe which would be the bigger get for whatever program or for Texas Tech specifically? And if you could have a wish list that included both, would it make sense actually from a roster standpoint if you could include both? What do you think?
Yeah, this is it's a great question. I would just say this. I'll be shocked if you can end up with both, okay? Just because I think both guys are guys that would be looking to for a primary role or looking to start or looking to flourish. And would that be made available to them if they're both here? Because, and then would Frederico be okay with it if you got both of these guys? There's just a rub or a pinch somewhere, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? I mean, somebody's getting squeezed if you have all four of these guys. I mean, what in a perfect world, would I sit here and tell you, heck yeah, man, you'd love to have all of them because it protects you from injury, and if maybe one doesn't roll in here and as good as the other, you're protected. I mean, all that stuff. You've got depth, you've got talent, and all those things. But and I think it's funny the way that the question is answered. If money was no object, unfortunately, that's like an NIL component. It does factor. It does matter in or factor into this deal, and it matters to some kids more than others, or it matters to more folks around some kids more than others, kind of deal. You're just not real sure. Each situation is very different. But I think that these are like, Osobor is going to be like like your traditional Larry Johnson, Zach Randolph, like those like big guys that can step out and shoot it a bit, but they're I mean, because we're talking between these two players, there's 40 pounds difference, okay, in like listed weight. However, they kind of play the same position, but they are the same, but they're different, if you follow me. One is going to be able to maybe get up and down the floor a bit, maybe better in transition. The other may be a bit better when the game slows down, and all those things, but I think Toppin is maybe more a better athlete than Osobor, but again, I would take honestly either of them, and I think you'd be thrilled to get either one of them, and you'd feel really good about it, and then you can kind of salute and move on. But they're going to be a bit different as far as the way that they work, but they're going to suck up a lot of the same minutes, and some of it. See, here's what we don't know. How much does Grant envision going small? How much does Grant envision playing some of his bigs together? How do those components work? And that if you knew a lot of what his mindset was or what his preferences are, and there's also some unknown here too on what else you would potentially add. Which one of these pieces fit better with that ideology on kind of what you're trying to trying to do as far as the different options it would potentially give you. You follow me? And so there's some unknown here. I would just say it's hard to like pick one over the other. I think that if you get either one, you're thrilled. And if you don't get either one, you're still searching for somebody that can, complement what Frederico does, what Emily Yalaho does, and all those things. And again, I think you're probably, as we sit here and chat right now, pursuing both. But at the end of the day, it just may be very unrealistic, whether it's NIL or minutes available or a starting position, whatever you want to toss out there, may be a bit unrealistic to acquire both players. But, because as you and I sit here and talk, Cowan, Osobor is scheduled to visit this weekend. I think post or after that, there's the Washington visit. Toppin is going to, as we sit here and talk, is scheduled to go through an NBA process, which takes a bit. And it doesn't mean he's not, returning to New Mexico or going to a different college or whatever via the portal. But there may be some time that it takes here. So you just are pursuing all options until you're not. And it changes quickly because we're sitting here telling you 48, 72 hours ago, Trezarian White, he posted on his own social media, he's got the top three, whatever. It didn't include Texas Tech, and so we kind of moved him on, scratch him off the list. Next thing you know, might be in Lubbock, Texas this weekend on a visit.
So things change very quickly.
It gives me the headaches. It gives me the sads. It gives me the happy.
Whiplash.
I'm just not real sure. What you're dealing with here, but that's kind of, if we're talking about those two players right there, that's how I would answer that. As you asked me,
okay. A rub, a pinch, and a squeeze a part of that answer. You can tell the weekend definitely on the mind of Chris Level. So it sounds like there are a lot of different reasons why both would not land in Lubbock, but it wouldn't necessarily be like redundant playing style or, not like, hey, we've already got 2 point guards. We don't need a third and a fourth point guard. So that would not be necessarily the clash, although there could be obviously a lot of other reasons, as Chris just identified there, as to why they possibly would not both land in the LBK. All right. Appreciate that question. Let's get onward to the next one. First, today's episode brought to you by eBay Motors. And eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and keep that ride or die ride on the road, or elevate your car's game to the next level of performance. Superchargers, exhaust kits, LED headlights, roof racks, and accessories of all kinds to fit your style. Whether it's power, speed, or design you're into, eBay Motors has you covered with over 122 million parts to perfectly fit what you need. Just head over to ebay.com/motors now, where you'll always find exactly what you're looking for, and at no risk because of eBay's guaranteed fit. Your part is guaranteed to fit just right every time, or your money back, keeping you burning rubber and not burning cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to keep your ride or die on the road and moving your life forward at ebay.com/motors. eBay guaranteed fit, only available to U.S. customers. Eligible items only. Exclusions do apply. Now, this is kind of more of a statement, but I wanted to get your thought maybe on the direction that we're headed in. This is from Andrew Krausen, and then a mixture of letters and numbers. Hawkins, talking about Elijah Hawkins, the former Minnesota Golden Gopher, soon to be Red Raider, who chose Texas Tech. Was that earlier this week? Man, time flies whenever you're talking portal time. He says this: Hawkins was easily our biggest need. We now have a driver for this vehicle. Remains to be seen if we're going to be a diesel dually or a fancy little red Corvette. I thought that was a great way to describe maybe what a roster could look like or what a team identity could look like. And I wonder, this is back to wearing our speculating pants, obviously, because the roster is not complete. But I wonder what the kind of feel you have is for this roster as to sort of the direction they could be headed, because we do have obviously a collection of returning Red Raiders that will make up this kind of identity. And what I think makes it an interesting thought is there is a mixture of both kind of sort of already on the roster. But what do you think whenever you think about those two differences?
Yeah, Cowan, I would say that I could tell you Grant McCaslin would, I don't know what his affinity is for Corvettes or dualies or anything in between. But what he would say to you if this question was posed to him is Both. Yeah, like I think you touched on it. You ideally want to be able to play a variety of different styles and be really good at it. And that was the secret of the Final Four team. I mean, that was really what separated them from most teams in the country, is that you want to run up and down the floor, we can do it. You want to slow it down and play in the half court, we can do that too. You want to get into a defensive rock fight, we can do that. You want to get into a shootout, okay, we're game for it. And they were better at most of those styles than everybody they played against, and that is very difficult to attain. But like, think about that team, and think about the two big guys we were just describing. I mean, like, Norrance and Tariq Owens are very different players. Okay,
yeah,
they have different skill sets. They bring you different things. That's kind of like what we were describing earlier. You know, when you get into Toppin and Osobor, you know, like. And so it can work. You know, when you put, you know, now it's tricky if you're trying to put them on the floor at the same time. But again, both are built for different styles and skill sets and all those kinds of things. But yeah, to answer your question, you did need a driver to your fancy vehicle, whether it's a big dually or a little red Corvette. Shout out to Prince. You know, but and that's why, you know, it doesn't matter what style you're playing. If you don't have a driver, you know, it might as well be a Pinto, or it could be a Lamborghini. But if you ain't nobody to drive it, you're stuck in the garage. While we're using car analogies here, but I think that ideally you're trying to build a team that can morph and change and be a bit of a chameleon at times, because you play like it changes a lot. But like when you used to play West Virginia, defensive struggle, be played in the half court a lot of times, or pressing style, and it, you know, and all those kinds of things. When you played Kansas, they're going to want to run up and down the floor with you. When you played Oklahoma, it was more half-court sets, be able to defend it, be able to execute your own things, and they're going to three-quarter court press you and make you execute half-court sets. They're going to limit your ability to run. And so that's what gets thrown at you in a league like the Big 12. The coaches are big. So you've got to have a bit of a chameleon feel to you, in that you can change, you know, and be kind of a little bit of everything. And so that's what, not to long answer for the question there, but it's like Grant's going to tell you, yeah, we want a little dually Corvette action going on. And because some nights we need to drive the truck. Other days we need to drive the sports car.
Let us know what you guys think out there. Agree or disagree, and maybe what your preference would be. Appreciate the questions and comments. I can't fit in
the Corvette, and I feel like a dually wouldn't fit my garage. I'm screwed either way.
I'm thinking about this dually Corvette you're throwing out, and I'm thinking in West Texas for a certain faction. That could be a nice fit. You know, maybe pull a trailer behind you.
It's like you ever see those Jeeps that are out there that's like a pickup? It makes me want to swerve into a ditch, because it's like, hey man, just decide. You ain't no Jeep, you ain't no truck, okay? And you tried to, you know, and I'm like, it's a farce. I feel like it's I mean, it really, it just gives me the tick, man, because it's like, okay, you're neither. You know, you're trying to, you know, like, what do you want to be? Like, you had this whole market corner. Jeep is a Jeep. Why do you got to put like a truck bed on the back of it and then let somebody drive it down the road? At that point, it ain't no Jeep no more, you know? So
very lukewarm. Probably Jesus Christ's least favorite vehicle if we're talking about the Jeep pickup. And now that we're talking about some of these combos, I'm just thinking a horse trailer on a Cadillac 10-4, buddy. Come on back. And I'm talking to you and the audience. Keep the questions, comments coming. Maybe you'll appear on next week's round. And what do you get with that? Well, you get a distinction and I think honor to your family and generations to come, knowing that you were mentioned within the hallowed halls of Locked On Texas Tech. Chris, appreciate a little bonus time, man.
Absolutely. Enjoyed it. Yeah, man. Drop us the comments. We'll pull some, maybe do this a bit more often. But certainly appreciate everybody subscribing and being a part of this one.
That's right. And we'll see you for the next round on Locked On Texas Tech.